So, hi, it's Rebecca again. Yes, I'm wearing the same clothes and it's the same day because I don't feel comfortable filming when my family's in the house, so they're all gone now, so I can film. And yeah, so I made an introduction video previously. Watch that if you haven't, I guess. Like I said in that video, I expect that most of the people who are going to be watching this will be friends and family, so they already know me, but this video is kind of more towards people who just want to know about how to get a job in Korea, because that's kind of what my vlogs are about, is my experience while teaching overseas in Korea. So yeah, I'm just going to be talking about how I went about getting a job in Korea. So actually, a friend of mine was also seriously considering teaching in Korea, and she has a job. We'll be teaching about 40 minutes away from each other, so that's awesome. And she actually sent me the link to this website called Teach ESL Korea, and all you have to do is fill out an application. They'll look at it and tell you if you're eligible to teach. So I was like, hey, why not? If they say no, you suck, you can't teach, then oh well. But if they say you're good, then at least I know I can do it. So I filled that out, and they got back to me surprisingly quick, and they were like, hey, do you want to send your resume to recruiters in Korea? So I was like, okay, that's fast, but yeah, I'll try that. So they just, they sent me tons of information on like what to do and the steps and all this stuff. And the first step was choosing whether I wanted to teach in a private school or a public school, which is a major decision, a very important decision. And yeah, everything that I researched said teach in a public school because that's safer, and private schools can be sketchy. The job market's extremely competitive, and they go out of business all the time, just like all this stuff. They don't give you sick days, like all this. But I did quite a bit of research on it, and I felt pretty confident that Teach ESL was going to hook me up with a trustworthy private school, because they said they only work with private schools that keep their teachers. Like, they don't fire them for no good reason. Like, they have a good reputation. So yes, I decided to go private school because of that, and also because I may have been a little too eager. So that's the route I went, and they sent my resume out to recruiters who are hired by the schools in Korea. They don't work with the schools, they're not employees of the schools, but the schools kind of like use them to find teachers for the schools. So I got matched up with this recruiter. I'm just gonna call him Kevin here. It's not his real name. And Kevin, I didn't know what recruiters were, so we had a really awkward situation, because the first time that I talked to Kevin, I thought he was actually with the school and that I was having a real interview. Like, I was interviewing with the school to teach for them. And so, like, I spent like an hour doing my hair and makeup and got dressed and went for the Skype interview, and it wasn't even a video interview. So I called him up on Skype, and it was just like this picture that came up, and I was just like, can he see me? I can't see him. It's just like really awkward. So I was still trying to like be normal with my facial expressions and everything, but it was so awkward. And then just started talking. I don't remember, because I tend to forget things when I'm nervous, so I don't really remember what happened. But as we were awkwardly talking, eventually I found out that he wasn't really actually with the school, and this wasn't a real interview. And so I was just like, oh, I had no idea who this guy was at this point. He could be any random creeper. So I was like, I actually told him I didn't feel comfortable talking with him, and like we hung up, and I was so mortified when like the next day I found out from my representatives at Teach ESL that he was my recruiter. And so I emailed him back and I was like apologizing profusely, and he was like, okay, it's okay, and he was good enough to continue on as my recruiter, and soon had me hooked up with like several different schools. It's crazy how fast things happen. I had like 3 interviews and 2 job offers on the same night, and they expected me to decide within like 24 hours. So I was like, okay, yeah, okay. So I felt pressured, and I chose one, and everything seemed awesome. I was like, hold on. Sorry, I thought the dad was home. Okay, and yeah, I had a really strong urge to break out into like the Lego "Everything Is Awesome" song right there. But and then I actually did, but I edited out of the video because it was too embarrassing. So anyway, what was I talking about? Oh gosh. Oh yeah, and so like I thought everything was good, and I was telling everybody I had a job, and I was so excited, and then they like contacted me back, and they're like, "I'm sorry, you don't have this job anymore." I was like, "Oh, what?" And so what happened is the person who I was replacing, they decided to stay on and renew their contract another year. So I was like, okay, well, but I'm kind of glad it didn't work out, because I feel like God was protecting me there, because I later found out some things about that school that kind of makes me uncomfortable. It's a bit sketchy, so I'm glad that whole situation didn't work out, and it ended up being even better. I was given all these schools to choose from again, had a few interviews, and had an offer the same night, and the same, like literally the same night, I accepted it because I knew kind of more what I wanted at that point, and this job not only paid better, but I was able to talk to someone at that school in person over Skype, and the last interview I'd only spoken over the phone. So I felt more comfortable with them. They had a really good reputation. They'd been established for like a long time as far as Korea goes, and they had several other English teachers, so I thought if they have that many English teachers, it must be a good school. So I chose that, and work hours are a little crazy. I work from 9 to 7:30, or will be working. So yeah. But I have tea and chocolate to help me out. I'll make it through. I'm really excited about this, so it'll be good. And knowing me, you know, free time, I'll just be like, what the heck do I do with my free time? So I'll probably be glad I have that much time to work. So everything worked out in the end, and that's how I ended up getting a job, and then on to like all the paperwork and everything, which I might make separate videos for, but I don't think I'm going to include that in this video because it's like way too much to talk about. Lots of awkward stories to tell. So all that, I'll save that for another time. And I feel like I'm inserting plugins for Teach ESL, but they really have been awesome. Like, I'm not getting paid to talk about them right now. They were awesome, and they are still guiding me to this day. They will be there with you, like when you get to the country. They don't just abandon you after you get a job. So I really appreciate that about them, and they've actually like connected me with some people who will be working there or already do work there, so I'm not completely alone. Like, I know some people. It's cool. They're really cool. I don't know other organizations, but I'm just saying, if you want to use Teach ESL, then do it because they're awesome. So, yeah. And recruiters, They don't work for the school. Keep that in mind. And once again, I don't really know how to sign off, but I'm just gonna say again, I have a blog. It's beckabroad.com. I put the link down below if you want to check that out. It's, like I said, a lot less awkward than these videos, so I recommend that you check that out. And yeah, if you have comments, questions, concerns, scathing reviews, I don't care. You can put it down in the box below and I will read it if it looks interesting. So I guess I'm just gonna say goodbye in Korean again. Yeah, I don't have anything else at this point, so 안녕히 가세요.